Hello world, welcome to a new video. I am Luis of Ecuador, and in this channel I talk about events, news, things happening in Ecuador. So if you're interested in knowing what's happening here, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Today I'm talking about bad news that we received last week, bad things that have been happening lately, but not all can be bad. So let's talk about a good thing that is happening also, and it is raining. This here is the Yanuncay River, and we are in the sector of the three bridges, Tres Puentes. That there is the review point. As you may know, we have had power outages. 90% of the energy in Ecuador is generated by hydropower plants. But if there's no rain, then we have no energy. In Ecuador, as we are in the intertropical area, we only have two seasons: dry season and rainy season. The rainy season goes from December to May, but this rainy season has been very dry. We're going through a drought, and that has caused that we have had not enough power. The Ecuadorian government has working on cloud seeding, and that seems to have helped a little bit because we're having rain again, and also because it should be raining because we're in the rainy season. That's the normal thing right now. So the rivers are at a normal level now. This water here joins with the other three rivers of Cuenca and goes to the river Paute, which then goes to the dam of Mazar, which is part of the hydroelectrical complex. Mazar, Sopladora. Okay, now going back to the topic of today, which is bad news. I'm talking about three shocking headlines we had recently. The first one is 3 mayors killed in less than 1 month. The mayors were Brigitte Garcia from San Vicente, Manabí. She was killed on March 23. José Sánchez, mayor of Ponce Enriquez in Azuay, in the lowlands of Azuay. That happened on April 18. And Jorge Maldonado, mayor of Portovelo, province of El Oro. That happened on April 19. So yeah, in 2 days on a row, we had 2 mayors killed as well. This is as shocking as it sounds, because they were killed, they were ordered to be killed by hitmen. Well, with Brigitte Garcia, this is not so clear. That is still under investigation, but it's very likely. The other two, yeah, they were killed by hitmen. What do José Sánchez and Jorge Maldonado have in common? That they were mayors of mining areas, very important mining areas. But it's not legal mining that you have big companies established there, no. It is illegal mining. And who's controlling the mining in these areas? The gangs, the terrorist groups, as named now by the official Ecuadorian government. They make millions of dollars in these areas. And the Ecuadorian government has not taken control back of all of these areas yet. Why? Well, I assume because it cannot be all done out of a sudden. But let's wait. Let me believe it is that. Well, these 2 mayors, they seemed like they were doing something against these gangs who were controlling the illegal mining, polluting and destroying, of course, many things, and creating chaos in their municipalities. But what happens when you want to do something on your own against large gangs? This is it. What about Brigitte Garcia? This was in the Pacific Ocean. She was the mayor of San Vicente, a small town in the coastal region. All of Manabí has risky areas. Now, Brigitte Garcia, was the youngest mayor. She became a mayor with 26, and now she was 27. There were no scandals about her. So far, we haven't heard what may be a reason for her to be killed. I hope the investigations continue and that the case is not simply forgotten, as it may happen. Last year, you may have heard that the mayor of Manta, one of the most important cities in Ecuador and one of the most important cities in the coastal region, in Manabí, the mayor there was killed as well by a hitman. However, with investigations that have been taking course, there have been news about his connections to the gangs, to the narcos. So it's easier to presume what may have happened to the Manta mayor. But with Brigitte Garcia, we haven't heard anything like it. Let me show you a little bit of the environment here, the river. I know some of you prefer watching videos where I am in the office only, and but others prefer that you see me walking here to the city, showing you how it is around. So every now and then I will make this type of videos as well, but let me know. I didn't bring microphone today, so I hope you can hear clearly. If there are problems with the audio, please let me know. Okay, they're cutting the lawn there, so I'll keep recording when I pass this guy. One thing that many people don't like about Cuenca, foreigners, because we're used here, is the noise. Because there's noise everywhere. Maybe you can hear now the gas truck, and you will hear this in almost every neighborhood. People cutting the lawn, people honking. It's not super scandalous. If you come from a big city, it will be quiet. But if you come from a very quiet area, Cuenca will be very noisy. You also have nature sounds. Okay, going on with the mayors. Hopefully the investigation continues and they can catch the criminals. But hopefully the main thing is that they stop the gangs that are doing the illegal mining and other crimes. These gangs that do the illegal mining are the same gangs that are controlling the drug trafficking to Europe and North America. However, the government has been hitting hard on them, and they are also working on other sources for funding their illegal activities. This topic is very complex because they are getting money, because they need a lot of money to keep the control in the areas, and they do that through young people. Especially they hire juveniles that don't find a job, that don't have good education, that see how their family is having problems due to economy, but because they make a lot of money, they tell them, I'll give you 1,000 a month if you keep the control in this area, of course violently. And that is what has lots of areas in Ecuador under so much violence, especially in the coastal region. Here in the Andes you don't see that too much. In some parts of Quito you see, but Quito is the capital city, so every large city will have this type of problems. It's more difficult to control. Especially about Brigitte's case, I hope they can solve that soon, because now in the media you don't hear anything about her, anything about the case. What has happened with the investigations? They had one suspect, but that's it. It was more than 1 month ago and nothing else anymore. So it's shocking, because maybe she was a very innocent young lady who was just trying to stop the criminals or was running an investigation because she was killed along with a reporter that was working for the municipality. But there were not any rumors or complaints about her. So that's what makes me think she may have just been innocent. About the two other mayors, it's clear that the hitmen were hired by people from the illegal mining. Okay, two more pieces of news that were bad, but that they were not correctly reported. One is this: juvenile murder after caught stealing avocados. You may see like, wow, Ecuador is wild, what is this thing? And many people thought that, even here in Ecuador. What's happening with these people there? This happening in Babura province, in the northern Andes of Ecuador. And yes, the news is true. However, what most media didn't report, or what many people thought after reading only the headline, is that a young guy who was hungry went into a property and stole avocados from a tree. But no, it was not like that. What the locals say, I don't know if it is true or not, but I would believe it easily because I have seen this in many parts of the country, is that this guy was the member of a gang who stole sacks of avocados, tons, not only 2 or 3 avocados for eating. He was part of a gang that was stealing avocados since long ago, and they were harming the economy of the local farmers. In case you wondered, this is the Roberto Crespo Toral Street. It has several restaurants, popular, and it's a nice area for coming to have a coffee, to get a hamburger, or to get other types of dishes. One of my favorite vegetarian restaurants is in this area, by the way. That red building there is the Court of Justice, not the large one, just the other one, the smaller one, and we're just 1 block from Supermaxi El Vergel. This is already the neighborhood of El Vergel, which is very demanded by newcomers. That building has just been finished, or is still being finished. And it happens a lot with the communities in the Andes. They get organized, and if they catch a criminal, They will hit the criminal, they will apply what is called indigenous justice and is protected by the Constitution, but as long as it doesn't go against human rights and against life mainly. So what they did, the skilled guy, was a crime, and of course it has to be punished. But the community, they say that they were reporting to the police since long time ago about these gangs, about these robbers, and the police did nothing in many months. So they got tired, and when they caught this guy stealing again, then you know what happened. Here in Cuenca, especially in the outskirts, we have heard of bad guys being killed as well by the community or anonymously. They have already found bodies that were later reported as extortionists or bad guys. So the community in many regions of the Andes are organized, and when gangs try to enter, let's say larger gangs, smaller gangs, gangs in general, if they get caught by the locals, they don't make it out of there. I'm not saying that's the norm in all of the Andes, but it happens in many places, and we have already seen news of this type. But that also helps Cuenca to be a safer place than the others. So if you're a bad guy and want to do something bad here, you better think about it twice. Or simply don't do anything wrong, don't do anything bad, behave well. That's it. Final piece of news, and it is the most recent one of them, which happened just last weekend actually. One beauty pageant was murdered in the city of Quevedo. Quevedo is a city in the lowlands in the province of Los Rios, and Quevedo is known to be one very dangerous city. And this young woman was murdered. She was part of the beauty pageant, the most important one in Ecuador, Miss Ecuador. She was part of it. She participated not so long ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. And also many people saw, well, Noboa is doing so wrong. Wow, the mayors are being killed.
Venga, hijo.
Papi, que vamos, lánzate.
The mayors are being killed. Now this young lady was also killed, but same as with the guy of the avocados, there's something behind. The mayors, at least those in the mining areas, they were targeted. And yeah, the government is failing to protect these areas. But with this lady, the model, what was found out later, or just the same day, because her name had already shown up in some chats that are part of a case under investigation at the moment, is that she was the former lover, girlfriend of one of the narco leaders, or one of the main criminals in Ecuador, who was killed some time ago. But why did they kill her if her former boyfriend was already killed? Some people say that maybe it is because he's still alive, but no, the government said that they already showed the DNA tests in the corpse and that the guy was him. He was killed while in prison, under arrest. So yeah, it was during one of the several riots that the government has suffered in the prisons. Well, it was with the former government, but still under the supposedly government's control. So clearly she was related to the mafias for a while. A long time ago, we don't know if recently she still had some connections, relationships, but she was connected for a time in the past. And once you make friendship, and in this case it was a love relationship with the bad guys, bad things may happen. This is the famous escalinata, the stairs that go from the river Tomebamba, which I forgot to show you, to the historic district. Let me get some shots for showing you. So the thing is not that if you come to Ecuador you will be under risk of being killed in every corner, because it is not like that. Yeah, bad things happen, they are still happening, the government doesn't have total control, the country is not 100% safe. Well, there are very few countries in this world that are 100% safe, but even though in these countries you're not safe from the dictatorship ruling them. The thing is that, yeah, many bad things are happening here, but that doesn't mean that we're all under attack, that life here is bad, because it has its pros. By the way, in one of my last videos, one of you commented if we don't have sun, if it is always cloudy and dark, like in Seattle. But, well, we do have sun, but I don't like recording because we are in the equator. So remember, the Earth is not 100% rounded, it is more like a pear. Geoide, I think in English. So it is wider in the equator. That means that here we're closer to the sun, but we are also in the Andes. We're 2,600 meters above sea level. That means that sun here hits harder. But we do have blue sky, we have sun here. And there are many things that we enjoy here. Low prices, fresh fruits, but the weather is one of the main things. Now it's raining again, we have water, so hopefully we keep the rain coming in so that we have electricity and we don't have more power outages. During this week the power outages are suspended. Tomorrow is a holiday in May 3, which comes after May 1 celebration. May 1 is the Labor Day here in Latin America, but in Ecuador the holidays are moved always to the weekend to make a long weekend. So if you want to visit Ecuador, you can do it, you can plan. Remember, in other videos I have already talked to you about groups on Facebook that you can follow. I also have my Twitter list for you to check current news of all type. Felonies happening here, misdemeanors, events, concerts, but also the bad things. I mean, the local media that is reliable from the official sources and from media, independent media here in Cuenca. I leave that Twitter list in the description of this video if you haven't subscribed to that list yet, because if you're interested in Cuenca specifically, I made that list for you. But if you want to know about Ecuador in general, then subscribe to this channel and we'll keep talking about things happening in all of Ecuador. Will security improve? We don't know that yet because it's not in our hands only, and it's mainly in the hands of the government. They received support from the people in that regard. So hopefully it will happen, and I will talk about that in the next video. Thank you very much for watching the video to this point. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in Ecuador, like the video if you like this video, and comment. Leave your comment because I take that into account for next videos. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.